Yeah, no, man. You already know what time it is. Why my voice sound like that? But we are back here again for the second part of this. Um, obviously we still had some technical difficulties the last time, so we're gonna try something a little bit different. But with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and make sure the audio is straight and the audio is good. So with that being said, man, we're gonna go ahead and jump back into part two of this David Goggins interview that we got going on. This is for entertainment purposes only. No type of infringement is intended on here. So I'm hoping the way I got it set up this time, it will help for the algorithm, I guess you could see, to realize that this ain't for some bullshit reason. So don't do no stupid shit to me, please. So with that being said, man, we're gonna hop on back over here and we're going to continue it. And we're gonna do it like the way we got it set up, and hopefully that'll make it better. The link to the original video is in the description down below. So if you guys are interested in checking that out, you can click the link there and it'll take you straight to the original video. So I'm going to go ahead and rewind it a little bit and we're going to jump into it. I'm going to go ahead and make sure this is still the way it's supposed to be. Okay, yes, it is. All right, with that being said, let's jump into this shit in 3, 2, 1, again.
Abilities. And some are impossible because you just can't. But a lot of them you can. But people don't want to go through the process of focus, of teaching yourself how to truly focus. This is where my message gets lost. It gets lost because I may say, MF or F, I may because that's the passion that comes out of me, because it takes everything for me to learn a sentence. So when I speak about David Goggins, I can't speak about David Goggins in a way that's just calm and cool. Because when I wake up, I know the journey that it takes for me to find my greatness. And it's hard. Nothing is easy. Nothing just like, I wake up and I just do this or I do that. Or it just, I watch people every day go through life and it's so easy. For me to be where I'm at today, it takes every bit of me. So when I speak about it, and as I get going here, you'll start seeing me, the tempo will rise. The passion will come out because I'm back there. I'm doing what I do every day to become a human being. And so nothing is easy. Like running is running. It sucks, but you have a choice to make. Do you want to sit down and go back to that guy you once were? No. So this is what it takes. It takes that misunderstanding of people, and they'll never get it because they were never David Goggins. So that is what it takes for me to do what I do. It may take you something differently. So for me, everything has to be in the study. Everything has to be into this. Everything has to be in everywhere I am. It has to be there. Me, focus where I am. That's why you're my second podcast I've done since Rogan, since the book came out. I don't have time for that shit. Because if I want to be great, I'm not trying to maximize money or maximize people knowing me. I do these things because maybe someone out there will understand me and get it and say, I can grow from this guy. And others just won't.
Sounds like friction is something you're very familiar with.
See, and what I was going to say before, the last thing that happened was people don't understand that some people, they can naturally do something a lot easier than other people can. And you might be one of those people that is unnaturally able to do something easily. And so what happens is a lot of people, they sit around and they shy away from shit that might be difficult for them because they have to put in extra work and extra effort to be able to do something that somebody else can do so easily. But the thing is that we're not all the same. We're not all built the same. We're not all able to do the same things so fucking easily. We're not supposed to. Some people are supposed to do some things easier than other people. That's just how it goes. And I guarantee you there's going to be some things out there that you can do a lot easier than what that other person can do. That's just how it is. But if you want to learn to do what it is that person is doing, you're going to have to put in extra work, extra focus, extra self-discipline, extra dedication, extra all these different things, instead of shying away from something that's difficult because you can't do it as easy as somebody else can. You can't sit around and think that you should only be able to do something because somebody else can do it easier. If you can't do it as easy as that person does it, then you can't do it. You can't sit around and think like that because that shit's going to hold you down. That's like saying that, oh man, well, I should be able to become world champion real easily because Mike Tyson did. And if I can't do it as easy as he did, then I ain't gonna, like, no, what the fuck? Like, I guarantee you it wasn't easy for him. even if it was easy for them, if that's what you want to do, you got to put in that extra fucking work to get there because it's going to take you a lot longer. You have less experience. You have less time in the boxing ring. So you just got to be willing to do what the fuck you're supposed to do and put in that self work and that self discipline and that dedication and all that you're supposed to put in to be able to get to where it is that you're trying to get to, and to continue keeping on where you're at and moving forward.
This
Yes.
word just that I feel like is like
Yes.
cast above us right now in
Yes.
boldface, highlighted, underlined letters. It's just
Friction
like
is growth.
friction.
Yes.
Like you're up in the morning, and I imagine David Goggins going to the coffee maker, stretching out, good morning, sunshine, and you're telling me from eyelids open,
Mhm.
there's friction.
Yes. And that is the thing that people don't fucking get. The biggest misunderstanding about David Goggins of all time. It's like, whether you believe in God or not, I do. He put this lab rat, which is me, on this planet and said, let me fucking see what a beat up, abused kid who can barely learn, who has a twisted body, messed up genetics, sickle cell, this and that. Let me give him everything that pretty much disqualifies you from the military. But back then, it wasn't estrus. And let's put him in this and see what comes out of it. So to do that, friction. You don't wake up in the morning time and go to the coffee maker. Matter of fact, sometimes you don't even sleep. What it requires is when I'm at 2 o'clock, it's 2 o'clock in the morning, and my brain is thinking about a fucking drug. And I got to get up and look in my book to see if that drug is how I remember it. And this is every day of my fucking life. That's why when I train a fighter or I train someone, I'm like, you have no fucking idea how great you really are, because you are using such minimal of what you have. And if people can learn to focus, this is what's possible. While it may not be pretty, like people want to do a documentary on me. I go, no, I don't want you to do a documentary on me, because I will have normal, everyday people picking me apart. Oh, his life is miserable. Who wants to live like that? It's crazy how it's almost like he's sick. He's psychotic. The most frustrating thing in the world for me is when normal people judge a man like myself on what it really takes to extract greatness from nothing. It takes every bit of who you are if you choose that route. If you don't, Merry Christmas. Do what you got to do. But yeah, all these things for
Especially it's something that you'll notice a lot, especially if you choose to take that path to go do what you're supposed to do to achieve greatness, to achieve success, or whatever it is that you're chasing, is that a lot of normal, average people are going to look at you some type of way because you're doing something different than what they're doing. Because you're not the same as they are, so they're going to look at you like you're crazy, like you're wild, like you're stupid or something. Whatever it is they're thinking about in their mind about you is what they're going to look at you like. And at the end of the day, there's nothing that you can do to control that. There's nothing that you can do to change that. All you can do is just accept it for what it is and keep on pushing. Understand that there's going to be a lot of people that look at you like that. But they look at you like that because they're jealous, because they know in their heart, deep down, they don't have what it takes to create something from nothing. That's 100% facts. They don't have what it takes to create something from nothing. And so they just look at other people who do like they're goofy, like they're weird, like they're different. Truth is, everybody has the same potential. It just depends on whether or not you tap into yours or not. And you just grab a handful of what's really in there and pull it out. Whether or not you do that is the difference between what makes is what separates the great from the weak. And that's 100% facts.
for me, like I told you, man, I'm gonna keep it real. I'm not coming here to talk about perform without purpose. Because I go through, when I write these books, I try to dumb down David Goggins. How can I give normal people, and I'm normal, but I found something that most don't want to find. How can I speak to people and give them something from this crazy psychotic brain that I've developed? How can I give them that? So I sit down with Jennifer for years and write down perform without purpose, callous your mind, armor your mind, the cookie jar, the accountability mirror, shit that people can fucking use in their lives. No. I'm glad it helps you, but the barbaric life that I live, that you have to live, the almost obsession that you must have to be great, you can't put that shit in a fucking book, bro. You can't put it in a book. You can't write about it.
Has to be
It
experienced.
has to be experienced. And you can't even, after you experience it, to write it in the book, it would seem like he needs to be locked up.
Too gory.
It's too gory. It doesn't make sense for a guy that every second of the day, he is trying to extract more from something. He's constantly thinking, he's constantly disciplined, never going off the path. Whatever is injured on him, he figures a way. It's a conqueror's mindset. And very few people, if any, can really understand what that is. Like I'm almost 50 and I've been this way for almost 30 years. Like, what do you do for fun? You would never, these questions, I don't get them. I don't understand them. So yeah.
I get asked that sometimes when you for fun, I start listening off all this stuff like podcasting, reading,
Right.
working out.
Right.
You know? But so some of that resonates, but I think what's so truly unusual about what you're describing, your process, is that, you know, from go, it's hard.
Yep.
And I have to ask, was being 300 pounds, having, I'm using the words you described.
No,
you've said it before. You had a tendency at one point in your life early on, tell lies, try and get people's approval.
Lie my ass off.
Crazy haircuts, attention seeking. And yet all of that triggered something that now is extraordinary.
Right.
Do you think those hardships were necessary to flip the switch?
I don't know if they were necessary, but it was something that made me feel, I didn't feel good. It was easy. The brain that I was given as a child, it was easy to go home and think about how do I want to be a freak today? How do I want to show up to school today and be a freak?
Man, you don't know and understand how many people sit around and think like that on a day-to-day basis. Ooh, what can I do to just do the most and do the most extra shit and this and that? And that's where they go wrong, because they're sitting around thinking about what can they do to get the attention of other people instead of what can they do to better themselves. Like, you can't make this shit up. Like, when you have that type of mentality, you're going to constantly have to degenerate yourself, degrade yourself more and more and more and more and more and more and more every single day. Because now that you got their attention, what they're thinking is, ooh, what can he do that was worse than yesterday? And so now you're thinking about all these different things that you can do that are worse, that's worse than yesterday. And you go out there and you do them to get their attention for that shock factor. So you're just fucking yourself over even more and more and more and more and more when you sit around thinking, how can you be even more of a freak today? Or how can I do this and how can I do that today? Don't think like that and don't act like that, because that's not ever going to get you nowhere.
It required me going home and opening the book up saying, it's going to take me all year to learn this fucking page. So instead of learning that page, I learned how to become a character. And maybe that character that I created, that 300-pound insecure guy that used to fake it till I make it type of guy, let me become your friend, let me lie to you until you like me type of guy. When you have any manhood, womanhood, a human being, a soul, a spirit, I must have just this much pride, because that's exactly what opened the door for me. Because every day you were a character, every day you were a clown, every day you opened that Spanish book or that science book or English book, and you looked at it, it looked like a foreign language. And you're saying, where do I start? Where do I start? And obviously it was necessary. The more I talk about it, it was necessary, because what happened is I became haunted by the mere fact that this is my existence. And you got to live with that. I lived with it for a lot of years. And so I sat back and said, okay, all right, I know what this takes. And when you sit back, as fucked up as I was, and I had a laundry list, a table like this of what I have to do to become just a human being that can make ends meet, that can make $1,000 a month just to get there. It was like, oh my God, dude, I'm 16, 17, I can't read, I can't write. And oh my God, I'm so behind the power curve, and my brain is about being depressed, and my dad beat, my mom's not home, and kids are calling me nigger at school. And I'm like, oh my God, man, what the fuck do I do? And it wasn't like someone came around and said, hey man, you can do this. This is all me. Some people know, where's this cold man come from? I'm not trying to be cold. It's the reality of my life. It's the reality of a lot of people's lives. And so, yeah, that had to happen for me to be haunted, to pull out, to extract at the end of the day. That haunting is something that's still there today, because no matter how much you improve, no matter how much you change who you are, It's not permanent.
That's crazy. When you have all these different types of things going on around you, all these different, whether they're small things or big things, you're a young teenager, you need money, your dad's off doing whatever the fuck it is that he's doing that's not being productive. Your mom needs help paying the bills because she can't do it on her own. You're still in high school, you can't get a full-time job yet. You can't even read because your mind is so hyperactive that you can't focus on learning how to read and all this. You got people surrounding you calling you this and that. You're fat as fuck and you're just no good. Most people will sit around and collapse from that type of pressure. Most people will sit around and end their lives with that type of pressure. Like I've seen people with a less amount of pressure than that go ahead and end their lives because of the pressure that they were under. Like it wasn't nearly to the point that he was describing. And they were like, I can't take this shit anymore. I'm gonna off myself. And they went ahead and offed themselves. But it's that kind of pressure right there, especially that kind of pressure right there, that causes people to shatter. But here's the thing. The same hammer that shatters glass also forges steel. The same hammer that shatters glass also forges steel. So what happened was the hammer that shattered other people just turned out to forge them into steel. That's what happened. He wasn't going to let that hammer shatter him, so that hammer forged him into steel. And a lot of people don't understand that, but you got to choose to be forged into steel versus being shattered into glass pieces when you come under immense pressure like that.
You just wake up and say, "Oh my God, man, you're David Goggins. You break records. You do this. You do that." People don't know how are you able to just be so hard? I never turn the fucking thing off, because once it turns off, I go right back to the David Goggins that is, and that's the guy that I'm constantly fighting every day. And it's a choice, and that choice makes you misunderstood. It makes you crazy. That's why I hate fucking social media. In 2013, people wanted me to write my book. I did it in 2018. It took 5 years. And the reason why I didn't do it, I sat at the table and Jennifer was there. This before she started working for me. I started dating her, whatever. And all these people were there. And they're like, "Man, you got to go on social media." And I was like, "Fuck you, man." Like, I'm not, it's poison. It's poison because I knew what I did to get where I am. And I'm going to have these people, these normal, everyday people, fat, lazy, exactly who I was, judging me. Because I know it, because I was once them. All my hard work, all my dedication, I'm going to have some normal dude get his little brownie, his little ding-dong, ho-ho, Twinkie, sit there with his coffee, picking me apart. Oh, he must be unhappy. He's just, do you know how hard it is to put these shoes on every damn morning? I'm going to have you pick me apart. So, yeah, there's so much that goes into this that I was like, fuck this. I never want anything to do with it. So, anyway.
I'm not a psychologist, but knowing your story from what you've written, what you said on social media and elsewhere podcasts, and here now especially, it's amazing to me. And frankly, it pulls at my heartstrings a little bit. I realize that's not what you're trying to do, but that in the course of your childhood and in your young adulthood, that no one ever got between you and the world.
No.
I forget where I heard it, that like if a kid has just one person that believes in them, and I had my trials and tribulations, but I had great coaches, great mentors. I attached to them. I found them if they didn't necessarily find me. But I'm realizing that your situation was no one's ever said, "Hey, I'm going to stand here next to you or get in front of you, put a shield up." And so it's almost like you've got these different, it's all you, but there's versions of yourself that like you knew social media. Like, I don't know that I have the wherewithal in 2013, 14, 15, 16, 17 to get in front of myself while doing all this because I've already got so much going on in here. Is that about right?
That is right. But I had developed a lot of anger and I still have it. And it will never go away for the normal human beings of this world. Because when you put yourself in the sewer like I was in, and please, if someone saved me, come out and announce it to the world. There's no one. There's no one. So when you know that, And then I'm sitting at the table with all these smart people who are telling me what to do and shit and guiding me through my life now when I'm 40 fucking years old, 2000, I don't know, 40 something years old, now I'm 49. And I'm looking at them all, and they're now trying to guide me on what's right, on this poison. And so, yeah, what you say is right. But for me, it was more of, I know now. I don't need you to guide my future. I know what's good for me and what's bad for me. And for me, it took every bit of focus I could. I know social media, that's why people love to go on there, because they want to show you the good side of life. I'm not teaching good side of life. So I had to figure out a way when I came on in 2016 of teaching you what life really is for the majority of us is hell. And so while people love to show you the cars and the house and the vacations and shit, all that's good. All that's happy. I'm going to show you the side that I know most of you are going through. And people hide very well. I don't want to hide anymore. I hid it for 24 fucking years. So that's why now I told you, we can talk about whatever you want. Because as human beings, the first thing we have to learn, I also stuttered real bad growing up. So if you hear me stutter every now and then, it's because that was part of my life also. So it's funny, human beings want to show you the best side and they want to hide the worst side. For me, I'm going to teach you how to be vulnerable, because that's the only way you fix yourself. You don't fix yourself by coming out here and me selling you some fucking books. That's why I don't have them. I forgot them. I'm glad people got something from the book. I want you to learn that the only way you grow is how to look at yourself and say, okay, like I did, table longer than this. What the fuck I have to do to get somewhere? There was nothing good on there. Nothing. Yeah, I love playing basketball. I left that out. That's something I love to do. I don't care about that. That didn't make the fucking list. Because the list that I had to live by was the very list that was to get me at this table with you, to talk to you, to the normal human beings I once was, about how you can get somewhere and how it looks. It looks very ugly. There's no fucking passion. There's no fucking motivation. There's no, oh my God, man, no. It's every day of your life just doing. No passion.
Man, that list of things that you live by is the list of things that you will do over and over and over and over again and continue adding to doing over and over and over and over again as the steps that you are taking to succeed, to get to where it is you're trying to get to. And people don't understand how hard it is to live by that list. People don't understand how easy it is to get off track living by that list. How when you get off track, all it takes is one time, and it's a hell of a lot easier to get off track than it is to get back on track. So a lot of people don't realize that it's once you get on track, it takes more effort to stay on track. Because people sit around and say, oh, look, he's on good pace in life to do this and do that. But they see that shit from the outside. They don't see on the inside the list that he's living by and the effort that he's putting in to stay on track. You can get on track, but can you stay on track? It's two different things. It's two totally different things. Getting on track and staying on track. They're not the same thing.
No discipline, no motivation. All these words, I hate that so many people fucking use these words now because it's watered. It's someone sitting in a room by themselves and they figure themselves out and say, God, this is going to fucking suck. Where's passion when you're 300 pounds? Where's the motivation when you can't read and write? Where is it? So how did this happen? I just fucking did. I just did. I said, maybe at the end of this journey, there'll be something there for me. If not, I can read. If not, I'm 185 fucking pounds. There's no magic potion. There's no, oh, let me wake up and look at some shit. No, all those words are overused. They're bullshit. It's all bullshit. Just do. You're living. How do you want to live? How do you want to die? How do you want to fucking be remembered? That's it. That's it. Period.
As many of you know, I've been taking AG1 daily since 2000.
It's 100% facts. Like I said in the first part, at the beginning is that David Goggins is one of them people that it's impossible for him to not spit facts whenever he's talking. There's very few people that have that ability to do so. I won't even call it a talent because it's not a talent. It's an ability. It's an ability that you suffer to achieve. And he's one of the very few people that have that ability to do so.
The word haunted is ringing in my head.
Yep.
I think it's such a powerful word.
Yep.
Because I was about to say, it seems like a huge part of your process, maybe the entire process, is it's all stick, no carrot. You know, you talk about the carrot, the positive thing, and then there's the stick, the thing you're trying to avoid.
Yep.
I feel like it's the way it's landing for me is it's all stick and gas pedal.
That's it.
There's no carrot. You're not imagining, oh, when I'm a paramedic, when the book is published. And obviously you set those goals and you make those targets.
Yep.
But it's all stick.
All stick.
No carrot.
Think about that. I'm waking up right now studying, like I have a test tomorrow. I already passed the fucking test. Think about that. Every day of my life. That's what I must do just to retain what I learned. 4 hours plus a day, I go through and do that. There's no stick, or there's only a stick. There's never been a carrot. Which is why when I speak to people, I have to figure out a way to resonate with them. Because all I want to say to them is, let me teach you the real life, how it really is. The reason